Gary Payton II has, after 6 long years of battling for a roster spot, finally solidified himself as an NBA player. During those 5 years, his NBA legend dad, Gary Payton Senior, never doubted his son's abilities. Knowing that it was only a matter of time until ability and preparation met opportunity, Gary Payton is not even slightly surprised that GP2 has become a key contributor for an NBA team, capable of reaching the finals. Here's what Gary Payton Senior really thinks about his son. The opportunity. Gary Payton's simplest reaction to when asked about his son is simply, "Listen, that's my son." He claims that if GP2 didn't have talent, that would be borderline crazy to him. His son's talent doesn't even surprise him, since the genetics clearly played a role here. His dad thinks that his talent is just right, and the problem in the past wasn't that he wasn't good enough, but that the teams who took him on didn't let him show his talent off. For the first 6 years, the teams weren't giving him the ability to show his talent, and neither did the coaches. And now, they probably feel silly about the situation, because the Bay actually gave him the opportunity. The only difference with the Golden State Warriors is that they're a team that allows him to show off his talent. GP2 is already on his 4th team in just 6 seasons, but regardless of his versatility, he never appeared in more than 30 games in a single season. Having played 71 regular season games for the Western Conference champions, including 7 of those being the playoffs, before suffering an injury, the younger Gary has already proven that the only thing stopping him up until this point in his career wasn't lack of skill, but lack of opportunity. Often when players are battling to keep a roster spot, they lack courage and confidence because of the sheer fear of making mistakes, which leads to them losing minutes. Having been in that spot for virtually his entire career, GP2 is thankful that he's now somewhere where he's trusted, and his dad recognized that very well. Peak versatility. His dad said that the Warriors never say, "Okay, if you miss a jump shot, I'm gonna take you out," or "If you do this, I'm gonna take you out." They simply stay with the system and stay right there together, and that's how GP2 likes it. He likes to not have to look over his shoulder and just know that he's getting ditched only because he did or didn't do a certain thing. And that's what's been a tremendous difference between him being with the Warriors and the other teams. Gary Payton Senior also very well recognized the level of uniqueness in his son. A lot of people simply don't understand that GP2 is a player who wants to and is going to do a lot of things, and cannot only focus on one aspect of the game. He's not a weapon, but rather an arsenal. He's just a guy who wants to do everything. You don't put him out there and tell him he has to score jump shots for you, or he has to score threes for you. He's the type of guy who likes to be told, "Hey, go do what you gotta do." Because of his unique set of skills, being a stifling point of attack defender while also serving as a pick and roll threat with his unparalleled athleticism, GP2 has become a key to the Warriors' game. At first, his responsibilities varied, as he was often asked to check the opposing team's best guard, but it quickly became clear that GP2 is much more than just a defensive threat. Knocking down 37.7% of his catch-and-shoot three-pointers during the regular season, the Warriors quickly realized he's someone they can rely on in every aspect of the game. And while GP2's utility as a defender and roll man were never questioned, with Draymond Green already penciled in for big minutes, Payton's ability to fill other needs for the Warriors is what allowed them to develop an enormous level of trust in their versatile guard. The Finals. After suffering a fractured elbow during the semifinals, many people thought that GP2 was done for the postseason. The average recovery time for such an injury differs from person to person, with many players returning to court in 4 months, but some recoveries taking even up to a year or longer. Once the Warriors made their way to the finals, word of return for GP2 began to circulate, as Steve Kerr informed the media that his versatile guard had progressed to contact practice with the team. Being listed as available just hours before the finals began, GP2 didn't see any minutes in that opening game against Boston, which is something his dad would like to see change. His dad is well aware that everything is in the hands of the Warriors, but he thinks that if his son is available, they should use him, because they've only got 7 games, and out of those 7, they gotta win 4. His dad says that he doesn't know what they're saving him for. They cannot really know if he's gonna be effective for them if they don't use him, so they should just use him and see what happens. In the Game 1 against the Boston Celtics, the Warriors could have certainly used GP2's defensive powers, as well as the ones on the other side of the court. And while Gary Payton Senior recognizes the Warriors will make the decision they deem best for the team, he would like to see his son get an opportunity to contribute the way he has all season. Guaranteed contract. Regardless of what happens in the finals, GP2 has managed to place himself in a position where he's about to get a nice contract this summer. For the first time in his career, the 29-year-old guard will finally get the opportunity to listen to offers and make a decision that is right for him. Even his dad says that his son has put himself in a great situation, and that he's very glad and happy for what he's achieved. But he doesn't want to see him get complacent now when guaranteed money is on the table. In a situation like this, it's easy to get oversatisfied, but you just can't get oversatisfied. Gary Payton Senior said that he should just go get the contract, then do the best thing that's gonna better his future, and then think about what he's gonna do in the next 3 or 4 years, or whatever he signs for. He thinks that GP2 has to be with a team that's gonna fit and be comfortable for him, because at the end of the day, that's what got him to this point. Community Assist Award. Gary Payton Senior is understandably proud of what his son has accomplished as a basketball player, but the Hall of Fame point guard is even more pleased with the person his son has developed into. GP2 recently received the NBA's Community Assist Award for his support of youth in the Bay Area, specifically those dealing with dyslexia, which was an especially proud moment for his dad. Gary Payton said that GP2 was a dyslexic child, and there's nothing wrong with having a disability. You just have to let other people understand that you have a disability, and it's something that needs to be helped. Going out to the community and giving those kids an opportunity and courage to understand what he went through and where he is right now is the #1 thing he likes about his son. He's trying to tell other kids that just because you have a disability, you can't think you're any different than anybody else. You just gotta work at it and get better and better. And GP2 is a great example of what you can achieve. And keeping basketball aside, that's the one thing GP2 has done that his Hall of Fame dad is really proud of.